Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast. It's me and Dhana here, and happy Saturday morning. I hope you enjoyed the live video which me and Shashwat did yesterday. We had a bit of fun and we thought we should try and do this more often. If you think that idea was a good idea and we should do some more live videos together, streaming, then do put down in the comments and push those comments up. Or catch Dhana on Instagram and let him know that we should do some live videos, and I'll try and get Shashwat to do some more with us. Or if you thought it was a terrible idea, share that too, that you would prefer videos which are edited and look a little sharper and crisper than two people meandering through strange conversations. Anyway, that said, what do you have, Dhana, today? Where are we?
Past today that you give the homework.
Yes.
Dr. Reddy homework. That time I was reported the report by school report. It's a topic, it's topic like that. Now the second part. You are telling about don't go beyond the level. First, you come to the initial level. Who all are the competition in the US market as a drug companies? Just list out that. Peers and competitors are the main thing. Just list out that and then come back. So for that list, I have come, sir. Companies that are in the US market mainly. That was majorly as Dr. Reddy, Thathuva Pharmaceuticals, and Viatris, Sandoz, Amneal Pharmaceuticals, Lupin Pharma, Sun Pharma, and ICMA Pharma. As per the report of 2013, Dr. Reddy have 3.1 billion of the revenue from the US.
Okay.
Thathuva Pharmaceutical and Viatris and Sandoz are the main players. Those are all the 10 billion of revenue.
But none of those companies are Indian companies.
No, sir. Thathuva Pharmaceutical was Israel, Viatris was US, Sandoz was Switzerland.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Their country of origin is not India.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Then
Indian companies are only 3 companies, sir. Lupin, Sun Pharma, and Dr. Reddy.
Then who's the biggest in the Indian company? Out of Lupin, Sun Pharma, and Dr. Reddy, who's making most money in US?
Sun Pharma.
Sun Pharma is the biggest.
$5.4 billion.
Okay,
as per the 2013.
Okay, so Dr. Reddy is a little more than half. Okay, cool.
3.1. These all are the player in the US position. Now the highlights of the Dr. Reddy. So these are the top 10 generic companies, especially strong in the US and India. Growth in the biosimilars that we are looking for, especially they are in the oncology and the autoimmune area, aiming to meet the rising demand for the affordable biologicals. So
yes, those are two big sectors in pharma. One is oncology, is cancer drugs, and autoimmune is a whole bunch of diseases which come under autoimmune. And all those, so there's lots of them. And it's a big problem in the US. Most of these diseases are big diseases in the US because most of the developing nation diseases, like what we have, malaria and all these other diseases, have all pretty much been controlled in the US. These diseases start coming as you grow older. So it makes sense that they are looking at these because that is the main market in the US right now in terms of pharmaceuticals. And
I'm looking for the biosimilar. What is the meaning for that? It means identical drugs. It gives the same effectiveness of the original drug, but it's identical drug. So that comes in the...
Yeah, it's acts in a similar fashion as the original drug, but it's different at the same time. Right. Okay.
Now the strength of the company. Those R&D capabilities of the Dr. Reddy, it was very good. Especially their supports in the generics, biosimilars, and proprietary products. Proprietary products is something I was not understandable.
Proprietary products means not proprietary, it's proprietary. Proprietary means their own products, things they've created. Yeah, they've created themselves, things they've made themselves. They have not copied it, they have not had any outside help. Something they made by themselves and they have registered it and they're selling it themselves.
Okay, sir.
They own it.
And another strength was regulatory approvals. US hold the many global approvals was held by the US. They need to approve. So that was very easy for the Dr. Reddy. As per my report.
This is true because what happens in pharmaceuticals is the American have something known as the FDA. Yeah, which is the Federal Drug Administration. And they are looked at as the bellwether, meaning if that organization puts a stamp on your medicine saying it's good, most people around the globe take it that it must be good.
Okay.
It's like having an American visa in your passport. If you have the American visa in your passport, it is much easier to get a lot of other visas. Based on that visa itself, will give you a visa immediately. Yeah, because Americans would have scrutinized you, that you're not a problem person. I don't want to say other things, that you're not a problem person. So they would immediately stamp you through. Same way, if the FDA approves you, it is considered that your drug has passed a lot of scrutiny and has been under a lot of supervision, and they'll pass it.
So it's easy to take over to the wider markets.
Yes, it's much easier to enter European markets and African markets and all other markets if you just have the FDA certificate saying it has been certified with it.
Okay, sir. And the strength was diversified portfolio. So drugs in the oncology that you have been explained. Neurology means that nerve cells after that was comes into the neurology, and the cardiovascular and the gastrointestinal areas.
Yeah, so they're doing drugs which are cancer based. They're doing drugs which are related to your brain, right? Then they're doing drugs which are related to your heart. Then cardio. Your digestive systems, your stomach and all that.
Yes, sir.
These are four biggest parts when you look at a patient for looking for treatment. Usually these are the biggest place.
Heart, blood, nerves.
Yeah, most human beings will have run into issues in this problem. So.
And then the last one, sir, vertical integration. It was like API. So in the house of API, they can improve the lots of things which was in the less amount. Like they are producing any new drug in the form of API, they can produce lots of things. So the supply will be much better and the cost efficiency also better. So because of in the segment of API.
Okay.
So that was the strength of this company. Now the weakness part they've
analyzed. Very good.
So they are very dependent on the US market, heavily reliant on the US market because of the market share 40 to 50% majorly rely on the US market. Any US regulatory changes and any vulnerable actions against that, like the Trump was come like, and the price reduction make the company vulnerableness. So that was the one point that I noted, and the pricing pressure also. The US generic market was facing lots of competition because we already mentioned that Teva Pharmaceuticals is their Israel company. Like that, many players are in that. So this was pushing down its prices. So that margin prices also affected. So that was also the weakness. And the regulatory challenges. That was the US FDA. That quality and the compliance issue led to the FDA warnings or recalled. So it will be the delayed market approval also sometime happened. So it was also the weakness part of the Dr. Reddy. So now the such cases that I have been mentioned by the such cases that I have been read out, the regulatory inspection of US food and FDA warnings in the manufacturing facilities for a quality in 2021 also happened. That time also the share prices was corrected. And in India also current good manufacturing practices CGMP stands. So that also was done in the Dr. Reddy. That time also the share price was slightly corrected, but they are overcome from that. In product recalls in USA, some mislabeling and contamination, packaging defects also sometimes it will be appear, sir. So that was also another part. Now the last competition analysis, that R&D spending and the output. So they are spending lots of money on the R&D, but the return on investment is not comparatively big than the API that they are making in the product. So,
but that's true in all pharma sectors because you'll have to spend years on years spending a lot of money in doing research and development because creating any new molecular takes a long time. And then after you create it, you have to do testing. And after you do testing, you have to get it approved. And then only you can take it to the market. So it's a long process. That's why you'll see them spending a lot of money for a long time. And then the product will come. And then it's when they start making money. That's why public gets very upset. Then a new drug comes, they're like charging so much for it. But what the public doesn't realize is he has spent almost 10 years spending a lot of money developing it and testing it and getting it approved and everything he's spent. Paying all the salaries and rent and everything he's done. So he needs to recover all that money. So that's the reason why initially when a new drug comes, it's always very expensive. Then after some time, the drug will become cheaper and cheaper and finally it will become like paracetamol. But the reason why, because R&D spend will always be tremendous, especially when you compare it to other sectors.
So now the R&D was finished out. The patent litigations also the one defect, sir. The manufacturers over the patent challenges also very difficult. Like
this is very common for this industry. All drug companies will be filing patent claims and they'll have cases put on them. Big or small, whatever, even Ayurvedic companies will be fighting amongst themselves over this. So this is very normal for it. That is why if you see in their balance sheet, they'll always keep a little bit of money aside for these cases, these patent cases which are there. They'll keep some money aside from their reserve saying this we have kept aside. In case we lose it, this is factored. In case we win it, we'll bring that money capital back inside and use it for something else. But they'll always, you can see it in their balance sheet, they'll keep this aside. Then,
that's the strength and weakness of this company that I have been reported, sir.
Okay.
After Dr. Reddy.
Okay. So now I want you to do something more. Right. Now we have understood Dr. Reddy. This is all the basics. There's two things we'll do now. One, go and find out when was the last earnings report given for Dr. Reddy. Which quarter? I think it must have come recently. Yeah. So go pull that earnings report out. They would have given the balance sheet, the profit and loss for that, and cash flow statement for that, an interim sheet, balance sheet. Do you take that and you analyze it? Go through that press release. And then talk to Albin, right? He would have probably got a transcript of the investor call. If he doesn't have it, he'll tell you where you can get the transcript. Yeah, read the transcript and draw up your notes on that, from what you've understood on that, and come back. Right? And another thing also I want you to do is, we found out when we were talking to NATCO, when we were listening to NATCO, that pharmaceutical industry is also cyclical. It has 3 periods of good times and 3 periods of not so good times. And NATCO is in the process of going from the good times to the not so good times for 3 years. So find out, is this true for Dr. Reddy? Okay. Right? To do some research and come back and find out, is this true for Dr. Reddy? Does Dr. Reddy also go through these cycles like this?
Every 3 years or
yeah, or whatever Dr. Reddy's cycle is. Find that out, research and find that out, and see where is Dr. Reddy. If so such cycle is there for Dr. Reddy, where is Dr. Reddy sitting in the cycle?
Okay, sir.
Right? We'll discuss that, and then we'll go further into Dr. Reddy some more.
Okay.
Okay? Right. So I hope you guys found this video very useful and informative as always. As you see, Dhana has really deep dive, and he has gone and seen where is Dr. Reddy selling their medicines. In that place where they're selling, who are the other people who are selling against them, and what are the kind of struggles and strengths they have, and how much profitability can be there, and where is their strengths and weaknesses in this. So this kind of gives you an overview of this. What I've asked him further to do is deep dive into the latest earnings. This is all the past. So this all gives us a history of what they've done so far and why we should have this in consideration. Now we have to reach a point. Yeah, the history of this company is very good. That means this is up to present day, it's very good. But we need to know what is the future of Dr. Reddy. Because as an investor, we're joining the party today. So when we join the party today, what is going to be Dr. Reddy 10 years from now? Knowing what Dr. Reddy did for the last 10 years, yes, it is useful to know that we're a good company. But is it the time to enter Dr. Reddy right now or not, is what we need to come to a conclusion on. So the next set of things which I've asked Dhana to do should give us more clarity on the road out to Dr. Reddy in the short term and in the long term. And with that video, we should be able to come to closer conclusion on how much we should look into Dr. Reddy and if we should be considering it and how much we should be considering it. Okay?
Many of my agencies also doing the same thing.
I'm happy.
In the past video, I read out the comment that was really good. We are also learning the part. So you need to continue this. So
Done.
I come to you.
Done.
You also done the research and then get back in the comments.
Yes. Whatever your findings are, like what Dhana has found, please share it in the comments below because Dhana is reading it. And we will try and add all that into the next video and course correct if we need to based on your comments. Thanks for watching the podcast today. As always, have a wonderful Saturday evening and do stay safe when you're out there enjoying yourself. And me and Dhana will see you bright and early on Sunday morning to discuss something new.
Thank
Bye.
you.